Google tells you you'll be asked these types of questions. Amazon uses them, Apple uses them, Facebook uses them. Basically, every company on the planet uses them. What is it? Behavioral interview questions. They are a dime a dozen in a job interview setting, and you need to be prepared to answer them. So today, we're going to talk about how to answer behavioral interview questions, the method to use, and what I often see missing in answers. So if we haven't met, my name is Cassandra, and I help motivated professionals build their careers through practical tips to gain career confidence. And today we are talking about getting interview confident by having great answers to behavioral questions. So what is a behavioral question? Well, it is any question that starts with, tell me about a time when. Tell me about a time when you handled a conflict. Tell me about a time when you disagreed with your boss. Tell me about a time when you failed. There's a lot of tell me about a time when questions that can be asked of you, and there is a method to use to answer them well. So you want to use what's called the STAR method. Now, the reason why we use the STAR method is because tell me about a time when questions really trip people up. Either they give no details and they're like, tell me a time there was a conflict. They go, well, I was in a group and it was kind of a hard situation, and I talked to the guy and it was good. You're like, what? There's no detail. Or some of us give you every detail known to man and are like, hey, it was on a Tuesday at 8 a.m. and I was wearing this shirt. And like, you're like, no one cares about this part. Like, what? Give me the answer. So the STAR method keeps you on track. So STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. Now, even with the method, it doesn't work unless you prepare. And to help you prepare, that is why I created my course, Feel Confident and Prepared for Your Next Job Interview. In it, I give you my exact system that I use when preparing and practicing for any job interview. You can find the link to it in the description box below. But to give you the overview, you're going to prepare by looking at the job description. The job description is going to leave clues. If they talk about handling multiple priorities, you need to think about what was the time where I handled multiple priorities, and then create an answer around that. You're going to use STAR to keep you on track. So let's start with that S, situation. What was the situation? Where were you? When was it? Who was involved? Then the task. What were you told you had to do, right? Let's say it was tell me about a time you had a conflict. You're talking about a group project, and the task was the group had to create a report on a specific topic and present it to the class. Great. Or present it to the team. Okay, so that's the task, what you have to do. And then the action, what did you do? What did you do in that task or with the conflict that happened with the person? That's the action. And then the result, how did they respond? So that is the money. I've said this in other videos too, but the result is the money. That is the gold of your answer to this question. 90% of people leave it out. If you add it, you are going to go so much further in the interview process, because this is what people do. They give this situation. Well, I was in this group project with about 5 classmates, and we had a month to do it and to present our findings to the class. That's the situation and the task a little bit. So the task was that we had to get together and divvy up who would do each piece, and one person really didn't hold up their end of the bargain. They didn't show up to meetings, they didn't finish on deadline, and so the action I took was I went and I pulled the person aside after class and I asked them, what's going on? Why haven't you been involved in the project? And so that was the time I handled a conflict. Like, Okay. How did they respond? Did they blow up? Did they scream at you? Did they start crying and say how life's been so hard? What happened with the project? Did you guys end up presenting without them? Did they come through in the end and you got an A? Like, what happened? So make sure you add that result. It's not just about what you did, it's about the aftermath of what you did. So if you follow S.T.A.R, you honestly will do great at Google, at Amazon, at any company you interview with, because that's the method that they're looking for. But with my interview clients that I work one-on-one with, I often see the same mistakes come up again and again. And so I thought I would help you with those today. Let's talk about a couple of things to really stay on track with S.T.A.R. Number one, leaving off the result. I know I just said it. I know we just went over it. That's how important it is. Do not leave off the R. You need the result. Okay. Number two, giving the story out of order or giving kind of overview and then going back into the story. So sometimes people start giving me the action and the result, and then they go back and they're like, well, because the situation was blah, 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 blah. What? Or they give kind of an overview, like a very generic version of it. You know, I was in this group project and one person wasn't doing their part. And so I talked to them and it went well. So like what really happened was we had to do blah, blah, blah. And then they go back and give it to me all over again. This is why we practice. Make sure we're giving every point of the story in order. Because remember, it all makes sense in your head because you lived it, but the person sitting across from you, or persons, the people sitting across from you, they didn't live it. And so they're trying to paint the picture. They're trying to put it in order. So paint the picture for them by making sure you go in that order. And that's why we practice. The third one is really big. It's too much or not enough detail. So when I say give me the when, that doesn't always matter, but sometimes it's helpful for them to know, you know, a month ago I worked on this project, or a year ago this thing happened that was really important. So I've got something that's itching my face, y'all. Sorry. A year ago this thing happened that was really important, but they don't need to know it was a Tuesday, it was raining outside. Like, we don't need that detail. And on the flip side, some people give no detail, and then we can't really paint the picture that way either. So this is why you prep these ahead and you say them out loud and time yourself. Have you given enough detail? Have you not given any detail? Does it paint the picture? Ask a friend to tell you back, like to listen to your answer and respond back with what they heard so you can see, did I give enough information? They need to see really what went well, what didn't go well, etc., based off your answer. So make sure you're finding that balance in detail. Okay, so hopefully by now you're seeing you cannot wing this part of an interview, right? We can't wing it. So go check out the Feel Confident and Prepared course down below. It'll get you so ready for your next interview. I promise. It's the exact, literally, it's the system I use for every interview. It'll definitely help you out. If you want more help, I have videos for you here and here. That's it for today. Give this one a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.